Samuel Nujoma. Samuel Shafishuna Daniel Nujoma, a revolutionary, anti-apartheid activist, pragmatist, and statesman. He was born on May 12, 1929, in the small village of Etunda, Omusati region in the northwestern part of the then Southwest Africa, now Namibia, under apartheid South Africa. Nujoma grew up as the eldest of 11 children in a modest family of farmers, herding cattle and tending fields while learning the values of responsibility and resilience from an early age. Like many children in rural Namibia under South African rule, his access to formal education was limited. He received his primary education from the Okahau Finnish Mission School from 1937 to 1945, which was as high as possible for blacks during that time. In 1946, as a teenager in search of work and new opportunities, Nujoma left his home and traveled south to Walvis Bay, the country's main harbor town, where he got employed as a contract worker. He cultivated a love of self-education, spending hours after work, reading borrowed books and newspapers to better understand the world. In 1949, he worked as a cleaner at South African Railways in Windhoek, surrounded by workers from different regions of Namibia. Nujoma began to exchange ideas and experiences, developing an early awareness of the common struggles faced by his people. At this period, he enrolled in an adult night school at St. Barnabas in the Windhoek old location, mainly to improve his English. With a deep passion for politics and yearning to see his people free from the restricted pass law system and confined according to ethnic groupings, Nujoma resigned from the South African Railways in 1957 at the age of 29. He did so to devote his time to politics. On August 2, 1957, alongside like-minded activists, Nujoma co-founded the Ovambo Land People's Congress (OPC) to protest against the contract labor system and the wider injustices faced by Namibians under apartheid South Africa. This organization evolved into the Ovambo Land People's Organization (OPO) in 1959. Through the OPO, Nujoma petitioned the United Nations in the late 50s, demanding that the then Southwest Africa, Namibia, be placed under the UN trusteeship system. On April 19, 1960, the Ovambo Land People's Organization was transformed into the Southwest Africa People's Organization, SWAPO, with Nujoma as its first president. The new movement placed the liberation of Namibia firmly on the international agenda, seeking solidarity and support from Africa and beyond. Recognizing that his political activities had made him a target for arrest, Nujoma went into exile the same year. From exile, he mobilized support from newly independent African states, the Organization of African Unity, OAU, and the United Nations to keep Namibia's plight on the global agenda. He addressed the United Nations in 1960, making the case that Namibia's people were entitled to self-determination and independence. In 1966, the UN revoked South Africa's continuous rule over Namibia. Apartheid South Africa, however, defied the UN's revocation of its mandate over Namibia and thus continued with its illegal occupation of the territory. On August 26, 1966, SWAPO, led by Nujoma, launched an armed struggle against South Africa with the formation of the People's Liberation Army of Namibia. The first shots were fired at Omogulugwambashe in Iukwaludi district of the Omusati region, marking the beginning of what became a decade-long war for liberation. Nujoma coordinated operations from abroad, while fighters inside Namibia carried out guerrilla warfare against the South African army. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Nujoma emerged not only as the political head of SWAPO, but also as the unifying symbol of Namibian resistance. The tide began to turn in the late 1980s. A combination of military stalemates, international sanctions against South Africa, and diplomatic pressure led to the Tripartite Agreement of 1988, which paved the way for Namibian independence under United Nations supervision. On February 16, 1990, Sam Nujoma was unanimously elected by the National Assembly as the first president of the Republic of Namibia. He was re-elected for 2 more terms of office in 1994 and 1999 respectively, in recognition of his wise and dynamic leadership. During his presidency, Namibia underwent rapid modernization, including the building of key national institutions, the expansion of infrastructure such as roads, schools, and health facilities, and the introduction of policies aimed at improving education, healthcare, and agriculture. Nujoma successfully united all Namibians into a peaceful, tolerant, and democratic society governed by the rule of law. Through his leadership, SWAPO adopted the policy of national reconciliation under the motto, "One Namibia, One Nation." He oversaw the adoption of a progressive constitution that safeguarded human rights and multi-party democracy. Although challenges such as land reform and economic inequality persisted, Nujoma's leadership secured political stability, strengthened state institutions, and earned him recognition as the founding president and architect of Namibia's independence. Beyond Namibia, Sam Nujoma was widely regarded as a great Pan-Africanist because he consistently linked Namibia's struggle for independence to the broader liberation of the African continent. He championed the fight against apartheid in South Africa and supported regional liberation movements, embodying the principle that Africa's struggles were interconnected. He advocated for African unity through the African Union and the Southern African Development Community (SADC), believing Namibia's future depended on regional stability, prosperity, and solidarity. Nujoma retired as head of state in 2005, but continued to lead his party before stepping down in 2007 as president of the ruling SWAPO party. His retirement and peaceful transfer of power to his successor, Hifikepunye Pohamba, was widely praised as a shining example of statesmanship and respect for constitutional order, reinforcing Namibia's reputation as one of Africa's most stable democracies. In retirement, Nujoma dedicated time to community development, education, and environmental conservation projects, often working through the Sam Nujoma Foundation to support social and national causes. Samuel Shafishuna Daniel Nujoma died at the age of 95 after 3 weeks of hospitalization in Windhoek on February 8, 2025. Sam Nujoma's legacy reflects not only his role in Namibia's independence, but also his conviction that Namibia's freedom was inextricably linked to the freedom, dignity, and progress of all African peoples. This Pan-African outlook established him as a leader who viewed national independence as part of a broader continental struggle for unity, development, and self-determination.